Why care about this now? Because software review is turning into a security question, not just a productivity question. The source says Anthropic has added a code review mode to Claude Code that can work through complex repositories with many tool calls and little human input. If that is true, then AI is moving from helper to semi-autonomous operator inside technical systems. That matters for any country trying to secure infrastructure, support software firms, or reduce dependence on foreign expertise. It also matters because the source frames this as a step beyond older static analysis tools. The claim is that the model can reason across files, commands, and project rules, instead of just matching patterns. So the issue is bigger than one product launch. It is about who can audit code faster, who can trust those audits, and who gains leverage if AI becomes part of the security workflow. The source makes several specific claims. First, it says Claude Code can chain together an average of 21.2 tool calls without human intervention, and that this is a large increase in autonomy over 6 months. Second, it says the system uses a project guide called CLAUDE MD to learn local conventions and dependencies. Third, it's as Anthropic is pushing the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, so the agent can interact with external systems through more structured, unauditable connections. The most striking claim is about a pilot with Mozilla's Firefox codebase. According to the source, Claude Opus 4.6 found 20 vulnerabilities in 2 weeks, 14 of them high severity. The source also says the system tries to disprove its own findings to reduce false positives, and can suggest patches for engineers to review. Those are concrete claims, but they come from a product-oriented report, so they need careful handling. The source argues that the real shift is from pattern matching to reasoning. Older static analysis tools are usually strongest when a known rule can be checked at scale. The article says Claude Code instead reasons through program logic and follows longer chains of evidence. As an example, it cites a heap buffer overflow in a CGIF library and says the model identified it by analyzing L's EW compression logic, not by spotting a familiar bad pattern. If that holds up, it would explain why firms are interested. Security teams do not just need more alerts. They need fewer, weak alerts and more findings that survive scrutiny. The source also highlights an auto-accept workflow where the model can write code, run tests, and iterate until tests pass. That is useful, but it also changes the role of the human engineer. The person becomes less of a line-by-line writer and more of an editor, verifier, and risk owner. There are reasons to stay cautious. The source is detailed, but it is still a secondary report built around Anthropic's own framing. We are not given independent replication, a full methodology, or direct comparison under controlled conditions. The Firefox result sounds important, but without the exact benchmark setup, we cannot say how broadly it generalizes. We also do not know how many findings were ultimately accepted, how costly review was, or how often the system misses subtle issues. Another concern is operational risk. The same article praises autonomy, including an auto-accept mode, while also saying humans should remain final gatekeepers. That tension is the real story. The more capable the agent appears, the easier it becomes for teams under pressure to trust it too quickly. So the central question is not whether AI can help. It is where the boundary of safe delegation should sit. For a channel about China, the wider issue is capability and governance. If AI agents become useful for code review and security research, then countries will care about who builds them, who supplies the chips, whose standards shape tool access, and whose firms gain trust inside major software pipelines. China's tech sector is already focused on AI infrastructure, enterprise adoption, and cyber resilience. A system that can inspect code, suggest fixes, and move through connected tools could matter for domestic software quality, industrial upgrading, and strategic autonomy. But the same technology raises policy questions about auditability, data access, and responsibility when an automated recommendation causes harm. So, this is not mainly a story about one company feature. It is a story about the next layer of software governance. The key tension is simple: if AI can review code at scale, who gets to rely on it? And under what rules?